Hey guys, Predzilla here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be talking about some more Godzilla movie news. The first thing that we have for today is that we have our first reactions for Godzilla vs. Kong revealed. So our first Godzilla vs. Kong impressions are pretty good, and they are pretty much what I expected. The visuals and the monster stuff is said to be absolutely amazing, but some say that the human stuff is not that good, which is very much what I expected. I expected the human stuff to be around the levels of King of the Monsters, if I'm being completely honest. If not, then around the levels of 2014, which isn't actually not that bad. I actually like the human stuff in 2014. But I didn't really like the human stuff in King of the Monsters. I didn't really have too much of an issue with it, as mainly the thing that I didn't like about the human stuff was the cringy dialogue that they had. I just didn't like, when they tried to be funny. I didn't really like it at all. But I think that the human stuff will be somewhat better than it was in King of the Monsters, as my personal opinion. Obviously, I think the monster stuff is going to be, pretty amazing. I'm not sure if it's going to be, personally for me, the best of the MonsterVerse, but I think for the most part, the monster stuff is going to be better than King of the Monsters, mainly in terms of fighting and all that kind of stuff, because as I've probably complained a million times, I really didn't like the human perspective looks on the the monster fighting from looking at the ground and looking up at the monsters fighting. I really didn't like that at all. Of course, they did have bird eye view shots of the monsters fighting, but it was not a lot of shots like that. But from what we know, there are a lot of good shots with Godzilla and Kong fighting each other, so I am very excited for that. I think the monsters fights are going to be one of the best of the MonsterVerse. Not sure how I'll rank that. Of course, I can't say now because I haven't watched the movie yet, but I'm not sure how I'm going to rank that. But I imagine after I do watch the movie, then I will easily be able to rank it. If I'll say, oh, it's the best, it's not as good as Skull Island, but I think it's, really good, or, something like that. But I have seen some impressions saying that this is their favorite movie out of all of the MonsterVerse films so far, so that is very exciting. But the human stuff is very much what I expected, as I said. Though, if I'm being completely honest, for the most part, for me, I don't necessarily care about the human stuff. I've never had an issue with the human stuff in any kind of Godzilla or Kong movie. Not that I can really think of anyways. It's like the only thing I can really think of that I had ever with human stuff related is the cringy dialogue that they had in King of the Monsters. I didn't like that at all. But anything else, of course in the older movies, I can't say it's bad. I mean, if it was something like that now, then yes, it would be bad. But back in the day, that was the kind of stuff that they had in now, and I like it like that. Because it's it's the older films, and they're all silly and hilarious, and not too serious at most times. But the times when they are serious, I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty good. But that is just my personal opinion. Others might disagree. Others might agree. Others might be neutral on it. But that is just being humans. But moving on, we have 2 new Godzilla vs. Kong posters revealed. We have a new Japanese poster, which looks pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is definitely not the worst of the posters that we've seen so far. We also have a new Dolby cinema poster, which looks really weird, but I really like it. I like the weird camera perspective that it has. It just looks really weird and unique. And I also really like the colors that they used for it, the neon kind of colors, which is obviously what this movie is going for, the neon kind of colors, especially with the final fight between Godzilla and Kong. So I really like this poster. We also have new images from Godzilla vs. Kong. We have one image of Godzilla underwater, which looks awesome. I think maybe this is just like a theory kind of thing, but I think that in this movie we have the most underwater Godzilla screen time ever. I could be wrong about that, because we do obviously have other Godzilla movies with Godzilla underwater screen time, but I think this movie will have most underwater Godzilla screen time. Like I said, I could be wrong about that, but we've seen a lot of Godzilla underwater in this movie so far, so that might be the case, but I could 100% be wrong, so there's no saying for sure. We also have a new image of Kong in the Hollow Earth that isn't part of all these other images that I've had. I've seen this image somewhere on Twitter, and I decided to save it. And it's a pretty cool image of Kong and the Hollow Earth, and it's definitely a new image that we haven't seen before. And it looks really nice. We have like all the floating rocks, which I didn't think was actually going to be part of the Hollow Earth. I thought it was just going to be part of the one poster that we've had. I think it was one of the newer Chinese posters that had like the floating rocks, and it was the poster that revealed the new spider-like titan. And I thought, that was just like effects for the poster, but I guess those are actually in the Hollow Earth, which is interesting. And I really like the Hollow Earth. The Hollow Earth looks absolutely beautiful. I'm very excited to see what they're going to be doing with the Hollow Earth, so can't wait for that. But we also have a new image of Madison, Josh, and Bernie, aka Team Godzilla, for the film. Inside, from what I can tell, is the Apex facility, but that is just my guess. Next we have is the Godzilla vs. Kong soundtrack name, which will be called Battle of the Beasts, which is pretty cool. And for those who don't know, we have two Godzilla vs. Kong tracks that have been released. We have a kind of a Godzilla theme. We also have a kind of a Kong theme as well for the other track. I thought both of them were pretty good. My favorite out of the two was the Godzilla one. So that is going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, the Godzilla one is when Godzilla attacks Florida, but I don't know what the Kong one is going to be. Maybe that's going to be Kong's theme on Skull Island or something like that. Who knows? But I heard some pretty good things about the score in the movie, but unfortunate news for the score. There is no Ifukube Godzilla theme in this movie, which is very upsetting. Though, from what we can tell with this Godzilla track, there are some nods to the Ifukube Godzilla theme, because that's what it kind of sounds like when you first start watching the Godzilla theme for this, because it was like that dun 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 kind of thing. So that's it's kind of like a Godzilla theme. So, but that is pretty unfortunate, and I know a lot of people are going to be pretty upset about that, but it is what it is. Next we have the Carl's Jr. Godzilla vs. Kong themed foods and new promotional cups, which look pretty cool, are coming to Mexico. One can only hope that, they have something like this in the U.S., but that's saying if there even is a Carl's Jr. in the U.S., because I've never heard of Carl's Jr. until, there was this Godzilla vs. Kong collab with Carl's Jr., so they could be in the U.S., they might not, I really have no clue. But it would be really cool to have something at least Godzilla related with Wendy's or Arby's or freaking McDonald's or something. I don't care. As long as there's something, I think that'd be really cool. But out of that, we have a new image from Godzilla Dominion, which looks amazing. I'm very curious to know what is happening here. Just a guess, but maybe the red lightning has something to do with the new Titan that we're going to be seeing in this comic. The Nakika Titan, which, that might be it. Maybe this is Nakika's, ability. Maybe this, is, Nakika awakening, and the red sparks is something to do with Nakika. There's no saying for sure, but I am very interested to know what is going on there. Next we have a Toho Kingdom exclusive image for the new Godzilla 2014 4K Ultra HD that is releasing pretty soon. The image appears to be brighter than the original, but apparently some have gotten this Godzilla 2014 4K Ultra HD early, and from what I've heard, there is no change at all between this version and the original, and it seems that this one might even be darker. So if that is the case, then that really sucks, and we've been lied to. But I have no clue if that is true. That is just what I've heard. I cannot confirm nor deny. But I hope that is not the case, because that would really, really suck if that is the case. But if anyone knows for sure, please do let me know. But out of that, we have a new image of Godzilla from Godzilla Singular Point, which looks weird because it's obviously the model render in a white background, and any kind of model render for anything, if it's for the Godzilla PlayStation 2 games or Godzilla 3D models for the movies or yada yada, it looks just weird because obviously the models don't match up with the white environment, because it's obviously not what they're from. They're from, obviously, the animation and all that kind of stuff, so that's not what they're part of, so it just looks off. But still, I do get mixed feelings from this design, and as I've stated before, it is 100% the face that does it for me. Also, it's just like a new design in general, so I'm just not really used to it yet. So maybe once I actually watch the show, maybe it'll start to grow on me, but there's no saying for sure. It's just the bottom jaw, for me, it's just too thick. It just looks weird. I don't like it. But out of that, we have a new illustrated image of Jaguar Type 1. That is what I am calling it. I don't know the official name for this version of the Jaguar, because we have this one and then the upgraded one. So I'm just going to call this one Type 1, because that would just make sense. But I think it looks nice, and it's very well done illustrated. So there's that. But out of that, we have, lastly, new Godzilla Singular Point merchandise. We have a Godzilla silhouette t-shirt. We have a Jaguar raincoat, I believe. I can't say for sure if this is a raincoat, but that's what it looks like to me. We have two Jaguar t-shirts. We have a Jaguar bag, fanny pack, and cup. And lastly, we have the Jaguar jacket that we see certain characters wear in the show, which is really cool. But that is everything for today. There are some other news that I have that I wasn't able to include in this video. I would have gotten this video out yesterday, but I was very busy yesterday, and all the sorts of other stuff going on in my life, so been pretty busy. But I do plan on making another movie news, at least on Wednesday is what I'm hoping on doing it, which I believe is when the movie releases in the UK and other countries in theaters. So I might have to go silent for a couple of days, because I imagine some spoilers are going to be coming out. Well, not really much on Twitter, mainly on YouTube, because YouTube recommendations really sucks in terms of, try to avoid spoilers. Especially, like, for example, the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. There was some leaks on that I've seen on YouTube through their recommendations that I did watch, though I didn't really care about that. And I did end up watching that movie, which I thought it was definitely better than the 2017 version, and I actually really enjoyed it. So that is kind of like a little review on that. But they also did that for King of the Monsters as well. I did have a lot of leaks for King of the Monsters because of YouTube recommendations, also for Avengers Endgame. And also YouTube likes to suggest a bunch of, Godzilla, like, oh, new Godzilla TV spot, oh, new footage, new that, yada, yada, yada. And like I said, I try to avoid that stuff unless it's a trailer, which there was a new Godzilla vs. Kong trailer that did come out, but I already seen it because it came out like 2 weeks ago, then it was taken down, and then it was now released again. But I do think it's a really cool trailer, and I wish I did react to it, but, it is what it is. We have about 2 weeks left until we are able to watch Godzilla vs. Kong, or, at least in the US anyways. So, when the movie releases on the other countries, I'm most likely gonna kind of go silent on YouTube. I'm not sure how that's gonna really affect making videos, but we'll just have to see. For the most, I kind of have a plan on what I'm gonna do, but I'm not sure how it's really gonna work out. So I'm gonna try my best to avoid spoilers, because I don't know, and I don't want to know who actually wins the fight between Godzilla versus Kong. Like, there are some spoilers that I do know for the movie, but I don't want to know for sure who wins the fight. I do not want that spoiled for me, because that would really suck if that was spoiled for me. So, YouTube, don't recommend anything for me, please. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.